Good morning. Where's Newton? I need Newton. Can you bring him in? He's right here. All right. Good morning, everyone. How are you? It's Labor Day. Oh my goodness. And that kind of means, it feels like to me, a new beginning, because we start the unofficial fall and the kids start school. Yay, BU. Oh, who's here and who's giving me all of these thumbs up? Charles, how are you? So good to see you. Dana. Dana's here, everybody. Dana's dropped her son off at BU, and I am so excited to see you. Hi, Roger. Jean, Jamie. Oh my God, so good to see everybody. Dana. Yes, happy Labor Day, everybody. Oh my God, I feel like it was a long time coming this year. Dana, how's BU? How's Max? How's everybody? Hi, Eunice. Hi, Alyssa. I'm so glad everybody's here. Oh my God, so I have my BU shirt on. I'm going to give you a, hey, BU University. Go Terriers. Go Terriers. Dana, did you see the tissue box they gave us for drop-off? Right? Still got mine. Still using the tissues. Oh, my God. Okay, who else is with us? Jason, hi. Well, I'm so glad everyone's here. I texted my son to tell him to get up and enjoy the BU, our BU morning here, but he's not getting up. So what can you do? Hi, Kathleen. Hi, everyone. God, it's so good to see you. Hi, Zach. So it's Smart Start. We're going to start our day with a piece of art. And you know it's Van Gogh Monday. And guess who just walked in, everybody? Guess who just came into our feed? Yes, my mother, the Queen. Did you hear that? She entered, right? The Queen is here. Yay. So I get to go see my mom today. So I'm excited about that. So, okay, so we have Smart Start, and it's Labor Day, and feels like the beginning of a lot of things. I got a lot of things going on and have a lot to figure out. I feel like the art world is always like that. Or certainly my place in the art world or whatever, I feel like there's always something to figure out. I feel like I'm always reinventing the wheel. It's exhausting, but it's the nature of things. So I always look for these kind of demarcation lines like Labor Day or New Year's. And they mean a lot to me because it's a way of kind of having a let's see, what's the word I want to use? It's something more scheduled, so to speak, to kind of remind me of my goals and to rethink everything. If anybody could think of what my words are, please please put them on the feed. But it's a way of kind of regrouping. We kind of take a collective regrouping here. Hi, Sherry. So for Monday, Van Gogh Monday, yes, you like the music, right? I'm glad you like the music, Mom. I wanted to look at, obviously we do Van Gogh on Mondays, wanted to look at his laborers. And Van Gogh had a whole career of really focusing on peasants. He loved the work of Millet, especially later in his life. We know from Arles the amazing colors of the peasants, the wheat fields and such. But I thought for today it would be interesting to look at his early work when he moved back with his parents between 1882, I believe, and 1885. And it was very difficult to live with them. For them, it was not easy to live with Van Gogh. It was very tricky. And as they said, there are several quotes that he didn't act like the conventional person, whatever that means in an artist's life. But anyway, so it was a tough place for him to be and a tough place for them to be. But what he does in this period of time is he's looking at the peasants and the workers, the laborers, without color, so to speak, without his kind of signature, the color that we've come to know of his work. in Arles, in Paris, and such. And so this early work, and he really does espouse at this time the lack of color. He is so committed to the lack of color in his work, in the same way that later on he becomes so committed to color and understanding his place as a colorist. So it's interesting, and I say this all the time about him, and please comment, everybody, as much as you want. I say this all the time about Van Gogh, is that he commits him at every step of the way of what he felt. He had tremendous courage of his convictions. And you see that in his letters to Theo, that he so passionately and obsessively acknowledges what he's doing at the moment. So if it's drawing, black and white, lack of color, he feels it with such a force and such a conviction. And then, as we've seen, he's kind of given it up and gone on to the next. And so it's really amazing. Hi, Carlos. Hi, Anne. Good morning. So it's kind of amazing to watch that, to have read that, to see that in an artist, this tremendous conviction of the work he is doing at that moment, and at the same time his own struggles. It's really fascinating to see. So I love this piece. I love this piece, Peasant and Peasant Woman Planting Potatoes. And I think that, as he says, he didn't want to just show an idealistic scene of people working. He wanted to really capture the work and the beauty of the work, as opposed to just, let's look at the laborers. They have such a beautiful, the romanticism of a working life, right? There's no romanticism here. But yet there's somebody, I believe, that clearly identifies with the laborers. And I think that that's very interesting. And he does so identify with them. And a lot of it had been his connection. Well, he never met Millet, but loved his work and his treatment of the laborers. I find this one amazing. Peasant Burning Weeds. Has anybody seen this before? Because I just look at this piece, and I think at this time, this is 1888. I wonder if I got that right. Let me just check. No, I got that wrong. It's 1883. I'm sorry. I knew that was wrong the minute I saw that. That's way too late for this type of work. Okay, so I will correct that. It's actually 1883. Again, he's living with his parents. He's back in Noonan, and we're in this kind of period of no color, but there's slight color, right? We're seeing that, and he's looking at the work of Delacroix at this point. Jason says his lack of color absolutely stays steps ahead of realism and understanding the color of the mundane. Absolutely great observation there, Jason, and thank you so much for that. I love that. I love when you guys write this. Kathleen, I've never seen this before. Where is it now? That's a very good question. I think it may be in a private collection. That's why we've never seen. Yes, it's in a private collection. See, that's why we don't see a lot of pieces when they're in private collections. I mean, that's why museums are so important, right? When something goes into a private collection, the next chance to see this would be either if the person donates it to a museum, if a museum buys it from them, or it goes on the auction block. But we really, as a people, a nation, whatever, we don't, as art enthusiasts, we don't get to really look at this piece and ponder it, and it's part of our life of knowing what Van Gogh is and art. And that's, it's problematic, right? It's problematic, but nevertheless, so at this point, I think he's really looking at Delacroix quite a bit. And he's also, believe it or not, he's looked a little bit at Frans Hals, and he had talked about the colors of the flesh of Frans Hals, people in the bars and stuff, and the colors that he's using there. But I find this piece absolutely stunning, just stunning. And again, it's not that romantic look at the peasant, but it truly is this gorgeous evening of nature, right? I mean, it's really something. And I wonder if I had done this in a Guess Who, if we would have known that this was Van Gogh. Would anybody have taken this for a Van Gogh? Because I wouldn't have. I really find this amazing. Okay, Peasant Digging, another piece that I really like a lot, because I think, again, he's capturing. I love the hands, how they're holding on so much to the shovel. You kind of really see the bones in the fingers, but there's a quality about this, and I'd like to know what you guys think about this. Do you feel like there's a quality about the face and the arms and such, and I don't want to use the wrong word here, but almost like cartoonish? Do you know what I mean by that? So I'm wondering, maybe it's like the heavy outline. There feels like there is that, but I'm not sure. Let me read you this, because this is at this time when he's writing to Theo, and you know he wrote to Theo his entire life. There's over 900 letters that were kept. Good morning, Audrey. Yeah, like a caricature, Kathleen. That's exactly what I was thinking. Good morning, Susan. Good morning, Audrey. Nice to see you here. So we're looking at Van Gogh on Labor Day, his laborers. Yeah, I feel like that too. It's almost like a caricature. There's this quality to it, but I'm not sure what that's about for him. Okay, so he writes to Theo, when I say that I'm a peasant painter, that is really so and will become clearer to you in the future. I feel at home there. And it's not for nothing that I've spent so many evenings sitting pondering by the fire with the miners and the peat cutters and the weavers and the peasants here, unless I had no time to think because of the work. I've become so absorbed in peasant life by continually seeing it at all hours of the day that I really hardly ever think of anything else. And I think that's, as I said, he doesn't think of anything else, right? He's thinking of the laborers. He's in Noonan. And the color is obviously different than when he goes to Paris, right? Just the general landscape of where he is. He's committed to not using those bright colors that he comes to use. Oh, Jason, I love that. To me, his work at this time appears like Daumier. I absolutely 100% agree with you. Let me go back. When you see the third class carriage, there's that sense, right, of that heavy drawing, the outline, that sense of caricature also in Daumier. I see that here as well. Great observation. Thank you for that. I definitely agree with that. Hi, Jamie. Good morning. So let me go to this one. Peasant woman standing indoors. Oh my God, I love this piece. Has anybody seen this one before? Good morning, Maggie. Yay, everyone's here this morning. I love it. Has anyone seen this before? Because I hadn't seen it before as well. And I'm going to call out you Boston University students again, because you're starting class tomorrow. So be you. If you're up, let's get this day moving. You got a really exciting, especially for the freshmen, the first year ahead. Everything's exciting for you and new, and this is your time to really go out there and make your mark, okay? Yay, be you. Go Terriers. Okay, so, and I never saw it either. I love it too. Look at her stance. Look at her. She's got, you know that where your hand's on the dresser and you're just looking over. It's just so, he gets that, it feels like he captured that in the moment, but I know Van Gogh well enough to know that he staged this, and he probably made this woman crazy with the amount of pressure he put on her as a model. He was very difficult with his models, and it was really hard for him at times to find models because they didn't want to work for him. Yes, Mom, he is sleeping. William is sleeping. Yes, and so he's not watching his BU morning show. Okay. So, yeah, I love the attitude also, Anne. I love the attitude. And it's just almost like, another day. The labor. It gets hard. It's intense. That's why we have Labor Day, right? To reflect on this. We have to reflect on this. I feel like it's a real day of reflection, and especially the artists, especially the artists on here that I speak to at Praxis, and the artists in general. It's like, and myself included, what are we working for? What are we doing? What is the vision? What keeps us going? What keeps us motivated? Is anyone going to appreciate the work? Does anybody appreciate the work? Does the work create an environment for yourself that you feel like you can support yourself? These are all the things that Van Gogh struggled with too. In the letter that I read you before, in that same letter, he was saying to Theo, Theo, I have a proposal. If you send me $100 a month, I will send you these paintings and you can begin to sell them at the Paris flea market. He understood that at this time, there was hardly the appetite for this kind of work that we're looking at now. They want color and much more, the Impressionists. They were into the Impressionists and the beauty and that was the art market at the time. And so he is trying to keep himself going financially, and we all are. And so I take this day and think, what can we do? Artists, curators, dealers, in general, anybody, as people who work for a living, what can you do to derive so much out of your work, both emotionally, monetarily, and to continue to kind of feed yourself, both emotionally and monetarily with that. So, the angles, I agree with you, Maggie. They're so dramatic, tension, uncertainty, but with strength and all that. I agree. He's really playing with counterbalance and values. Never noticed it before. That's really good, Jason. Yeah, look at this. Peasant woman darning stockings. We can barely see her. Barely see this woman. But we see this white, this white in the background. Okay, does anybody think about Francis Bacon when they see this for some reason, or is it just me? I'm just interested in if you see that, the more contemporary artist. So love the windows, the piece under the window. I don't know if it's a window seat or not, her feet. And she's just kind of sitting there. Yeah, you know what, Jason, you are on it this morning. I see some Whistler also. Very good. Wow. So, yeah, it's just, I'm going to go back to this one too, because I think that's what you were talking about with the angles. Very, very interesting with the angles. I mean, there's just so much here in his early work that is so amazing. And obviously, it's easier for people to focus more on the more celebrated work and to have anecdotal information about that work and feel connected to it. But that's not what we do here. I try to find more obscure work for everyone. So let's go back to this. I just think it's really, really something. And, obviously we all know the story. This work was no one was interested in this to buy as an art market. I had read, and I wonder if it's true, if you guys know it. Has anybody read that he only sold one piece in his lifetime? I wasn't sure if that was true or not, because I know through reading a lot about him, he was starting to develop a market. But I thought that Theo might have sold more of his work. Let me show you, and right here. So in thinking about, it's funny, I was tempted to add later work. I was tempted to add some pieces of the peasants in the wheat fields and the two peasants in repose and all of the color of Arles and such. And then I thought, no, for this Labor Day, I was just going to look at the real labor, the real work that we all do. And I know the artists especially, that we all do. And as kids are starting the university, going back to school, that work and finding yourself within the work and doing the work even when it's not the work you want to be doing. All of those things, creating that life that you want, and how hard it all is. And it is. Vincent was so excited the doctor wanted to buy it that he just gave it to him. Oh, Kathleen, so he didn't actually really sell it? See, I think he may have sold actually one piece through Theo. I will look that up, but that's very interesting. Let me just see what else you said. I believe it was Dr. Gash, yeah, that offered to buy it. I think you're definitely right with that. Jamie, especially with this time period of Van Gogh, I think he was aware of Rembrandt, Vermeer, and Millet, especially Rembrandt's drawings. I absolutely agree with you, Jamie, and Millet. He really idolized Millet. Never met Millet, but idolized this man and his commitment to the peasants. He really did. So as we, so I'm thinking as just as laborers ourselves, what is our, take a day of repose, and then we all begin again tomorrow. And I think it's a good demarcation line and a good place to say, you take a reflection and say, who am I in all of this? What am I working for? What am I working towards? I know that's what I'll be doing today and trying to figure it out. Oh, thank you, Charles. Thanks for humanizing Vincent. Hi, Francie. Yeah, he's probably one of the most human of artists. And I'm laughing, Charles, because there's this idolization of this man who, trust me, and I've said before on these feeds, so if I'm repetitive, I apologize. He would take something on with such conviction. So we have this juxtaposition. We have this incredible courage of his conviction, whether it be the lack of color, going to Arles, inviting Gauguin, whatever it was, even trying to become an art dealer himself. Whatever it was, he had this courage of convictions. Yeah, I love his own shoes also, Kathleen. I've done those. I'll do those again. It's one of my favorite paintings. Whatever it was, and you bring up a good point, Kathleen, because the shoes are all about him walking, and he would walk miles and miles and miles and pounding his body and mind in these long walks. And I see the shoes as a self-portrait, right? So he has this incredible courage of his conviction, but it's also an obsession that can at times become very, very unhealthy for him. And so you have that. You have this push and pull. But he was known to Charles, to your point, he was known to because of his idolization of Millet and Millet's fascination with peasants, although Millet did not live a peasant life at all. Van Gogh then took himself. He tried to so connect with the peasants. He would dress like them. He'd go into the fields and sit among them. But here's the rub, so to speak. The peasants didn't want to be around him. They felt he looked too poor. He was so broken down that there was almost this sense of who is this kind of, I don't want to say crazy person, but crazy person who's always around us but not really working. And so it was really interesting that he took it to that level, but believed it so wholeheartedly. Maggie says, I've always thought of right after labor as the beginning again. So happy to have your stimulating show to get me going. Thank you, Maggie. I feel like it too. In fact, I was really looking forward to this day because it feels like, as a parent who's dropped off a child at college as well, that it is that last week of August, that last week as we go into Labor Day, it becomes this void. No one's around. Business isn't being done. We're just kind of waiting for what? Well, this demarcation line of Labor Day and then beginning again. So in a way, it's really great to take this time and really think about what we want for ourselves in our working life and how we want to continue to mold that and fashion that. I know as I said before, I'm always thinking about that as somebody who works for themselves, right? I have my own business and several kind of entities of a business. I have to keep tweaking that and thinking, how is this going? Does this need to be tended? Does this need to be changed? What needs to be altered here? So I look at it as like this the living, breathing thing, the work that I do, so to speak. So I'm really happy to be here with you guys today and talking about that. Yeah, Labor Day. Yay. So, gosh, I hope you all have a great day. I get to go and visit my mom for a little bit today, and then I'm going to, Jean and I are going to go meet with an artist, Serena Busky, who's not on our feed today, and I have a lot going on with all of the artists. Audrey, I love your questions about what are we working towards and why are we doing what we do. Yeah, last year I wrote a mission statement about what I'm doing and why. I was resistant to the word mission statement because I felt it's so corporate. Yeah, I get that. It was great. Let me see if I can get this. It was a great process to write this and keep it in 2 to 3 sentences. It really helped me get clear, and I refer back to it when I get stuck. Yeah, I printed it out and put it in my statements, and it's my touchstone. Yeah, I think that's a really good point, Audrey. I think it's really important to constantly update that, so to speak, or tweak it and reassess it. So why are we doing what we're doing? What is our mission? And the mission changes. You know, it changes and it stays the same, much like an artist's work, right? So, for example, in my own mission right now, let's say, hey, Alan, is that Alan? Is that my class? I can't say, yes, Alan. So, in my own mission right now, so we have Smart Start. We have Cheddar. I curate the Flatiron. I have private clients. And there's some other exhibits that I want to do. And I'm looking at new artwork from artists. So the question then becomes, how does this continue to tie together? How do I continue to build and grow this and change it and just continue with my mission of making art accessible to everyone, and yet still developing an art market, which I'm very clear is not accessible to everyone, but it is very necessary. Financially, it's necessary for all of us. So that is, kind of what I'm going to be reflecting on today. And as I get this new kind of September started and figuring out what's next and how I can help the most amount of artists and at the same time continue to build, word I hate, brand, my brand of whatever that is. So I think that you bring up a really good point, Audrey, and you want to continue always to tweak that, even if you don't think, put it in my studio. Yeah, I get that, not statement. Hi, Chris. I think you always want to continue to tweak that and change, because the world is changing constantly and business is changing constantly. Everything that we settle into ends up changing very quickly, and you have to kind of stay nimble and you have to be able to make those changes. And a lot of, unfortunately, especially in the art world, it's been a very slow moving vessel and resistant to change, but the change has come, and it's shocking for people as galleries close, but it was easy to see it was going to happen too. So anyway, I don't want to get off on a tangent to anybody who's really looking for the art this morning too, but I think that Van Gogh really speaks to this, though, also, that he worked constantly, and his letters, Audrey, are very much like mission statements, and I'm just actually making that connection. His letters are very much to Theo. And please read his letters. They're very, very much a constant reminder to himself of what he is doing. He speaks to Theo, yes, but he also speaks to himself and why he's doing it, and finding clarity over and over again. So I think that really speaks to Labor Day. I'm going to leave us with this image of this woman, because I think we all feel that right about now. So I hope you guys have a great day. I really do. Take the day, enjoy, think about your work, think about your lives, whatever work that is. Oh, thank you, Audrey. Yeah, I'm thinking about it now as I'm getting all this input from you guys, and now I realize that the letters are something entirely different than just letters to Theo. They're letters to Vincent himself, So let's take the day, let's think about our work, and let's think about how we move forward. in our work, whatever our work is, whether you're an artist, whatever it is that you do. And if you're a student at BU, let's shift into gear. It's a really exciting time for you guys. Okay, everybody, have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow. Looking forward to it, and we'll figure, let's see. Oh, yeah, please read his letters again. I reread them all the time. You know, there's a very good site, and I'm going to post it for you, and I think I've posted it, but I'm going to post it again. It's the Van Gogh Museum in the Netherlands, and they have all of his letters. They have the original, and then they have the translations, and then they are painstakingly footnoted and looked at, and they have images that go along with them. A lot of times he put an image to Theo in the letter. So yeah, I think it's one of the greatest reads in art history. I really do. Okay, Jason says, thank you, thank you, thank you. Love today's connection. Thank you. And our personal self-reflection. Oh, thank you. Oh, contemplating a major career change. Oh, can't wait to hear about it, Jason. Can't wait to hear about it. Everyone having a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you so much.